Guys, we are about to enter 2025. You should know by now that there are some masculine qualities, masculine traits that women in 2025 will be very thirsty for them. Why? Because they are fucking missing in today's society. Men nowadays have become so goddamn weak that they lack basic masculine behaviors. My name is Andrew. Welcome to European Social Dynamics. I have been doing this for the past 15 years of my life, and I run the biggest dating company in my home country. I can coach you in person or online, so if you want to work with me, you have the email address right now on this video. Anyways, starting and without further bullshit, I want to address something to you. When is the last time that you actually took a risk? Because it is a very masculine trait to actually be able to risk. Now, men nowadays don't take any risks. Men nowadays have become so soft, they don't even say what they think about. They don't even mention what they feel about certain situations. They don't address, they're avoiding conflict when conflict is actually the only language that we know as human beings. All these years that have gone by, we were very familiar with wars, we were very familiar with trying to find peace, we were very familiar with conflict, with battles, with blood, and I'm not saying we should be over there. I'm just saying that in order to understand what peace is and love, we are going to courses, because these languages are very unfamiliar for us. What is familiar is being scared, having anxiety, and going to war. So conflict is the language that we actually know. Now, people need to take risks, because if not, you are signing for an easy life. And when you're signing for something easy, you will be stuck in comfort zones and you're not going to do shit with your life. So if you're looking for easy things, you're going to build a fucked up society. So what can you do today to take a risk? Let me give you an example. For example, I tell a guy, this is a book I released for my dating company. You're not going to understand it because it's my mother language. I'm going to translate this for you in the future. But anyways, let me show you an example. I tell guys, listen, you've been to school, nobody taught you anything about dating, you don't know shit about women in general. And I'm gonna give you a formula, besides a lot of other beautiful things over here in this book. I'm gonna give you a formula on how to give a woman an experience when you take her out, not a fucking date where you're having a coffee and nothing else. You're gonna give her the experience of her goddamn life, that she's gonna be wet and she's gonna think about you every single day. She's gonna remember you because you were the only guy that actually cared about her in that specific way. And you know what guys will do? 1 of 10 will buy this book, and the other 9 will be over here biting their nails, being like, but that book is like around 150 euros. It's a bit too much. I'm taking a risk over here. But you do want women of high caliber going to a date with you, a complete stranger. You want these women to take risks. Meanwhile, you're not taking any risks. You want women to look for you when you're not even approaching them. So do you understand my philosophy over here? We are becoming weak. We are weaker than ever. So guys won't take a risk. You know, somebody wants to open a restaurant, he's gonna, but what am I gonna fail? Such a bunch of losers. It's a bunch of losers that we are creating in this society, and that is the issue. So if the very first trait is be able to take a risk, then that leads us to the second, which is you gotta be able to say the things that you think. You gotta be able to talk with confidence about the things that you are, the things that you believe in. You gotta have a strong identity. And I know you heard this before, but it seems like you're in a fucking hypnosis because you're not doing anything about it. It's very fair to say that, women are looking for assertivity, but you don't wanna be assertive if you do not own that shit. You don't want to be assertive just because somebody in a YouTube video told you. You want to deserve that shit. So you can have an ego if it's on merit. So first of all, do some things by contributing in this world, by bringing in front of the people a powerful persona, a powerful character. Be an inspiration for someone. Do something for your family, for your parents, or for your kids. Do something outside of you that will earn you respect, love, and admiration. And of course, some haters, because why not? People like you shake the fucking ground where they walk. So until you understand this, you're not gonna attract any women because you lack the minimum traits that are actually hunted by them, especially in 2025. Now, when you have principles, values, and when you have some small wins in your life, now you're building proof for why you deserve the ego, why you deserve the confidence. A lot of people might actually be upset with Andrew Tate, for example, but he deserves the ego that he has. He deserves the assertivity. So understand this. You can say whatever you want about him, but at the end of the day, he is making things move. And that is the reality for all of us. And so the reason why you gotta have this confidence, this self-belief, is because when people will try to attack you, either we're talking about haters or the system or somebody's coming after you, and everyday life will create problems for you, and you need to be a problem solver. You need to find solutions to the problem, not limit yourself furthermore. So people will very often look at you and they're gonna be like, what the fuck do we do now? Because they don't have the training, they didn't went to coaching, they didn't invest in themselves to understand that life is a cumulative of problems and you gotta be a solution. You gotta be a solver. So you're gonna bring solutions to the problems that they have, and you're gonna teach them about finding solutions all the time in the goddamn obstacles that life puts in front of them. And so with that being said, your wife or the girl that you're dating, or maybe your family, will come to you and they will look at you and you're like, for example, you're fat, or you lack that confidence, or you don't know what to do with your life, you don't know how to explain and articulate correctly what are your objectives, you don't even know the goddamn direction you have in life. And so this becomes a problem because the woman will look at you, your wife will look at you, and she's gonna be like, listen, I'm a total fuck up when it comes to my emotions. Sometimes I wanna hit my head, bash it on the table, I don't know how to recover. Can you center me in some qualitative emotions? Can you do something about this? And she's gonna look at you and she's gonna be like, he cannot center himself in a space of trust, confidence, peace. How is he gonna center me? How is he gonna ground my kids in what they need if he isn't capable of self-control within himself? And that is a very good question that she's asking, and you should think about it. So obviously this leads me to the next point. A trait that will be most hunted by women in 2025 will be the fact that they will look for men that are romantic but also dangerous. What I mean by that, you have a lot of guys nowadays that are saying, oh, you're such a simp or a pussy if you bring women flowers or chocolates and whatnot. No, you're not a simp. Listen, if you're married to this woman, for example, for the past 4 years, she's taking care of you, of your babies. You're not a simp. You are a gentleman showing your goddamn appreciation and love for her. That is something very beautiful to do for the people that actually gave you something. They show love towards you. They show their appreciation. They gave you respect. You might call your friend a goddamn simp because he's bringing you beer. Because in respect to your friendship, he loves you, he adores you, he wants to sit and spend time with you. What's your friend? Is a simp? No. A simp is when he is trying to buy women's presence, when he is trying to convince women to stay with him. That is a simp. So you opening the door of the car for the woman with you, bringing her flowers or chocolate or being nice to her, that's not simp behavior. That is a guy that understands his value and cherishes others as well as he cherishes himself. It's a goddamn difference. It's a huge one, actually. And what I wanted to say by dangerous, nowadays you have people that are encouraging you on the internet, oh, you should avoid conflict. No, that is your base reality. You are very familiar with conflict. No, if somebody is hurting your kid, or let's just say if somebody is harassing your wife on the streets, they want to rape her, well, you're going to stand and look at them and be like, oh, I'm self-acceptance, I'm not going to do shit. You smack their faces. You definitely smack their faces off, because you gotta be a protector, you gotta protect your family. So enough of that self-acceptance bullshit. There is a moment in time where you gotta become violent, exactly as a samurai that has a sword. That doesn't mean he has to use it. But if I bring you peace, and if you bring me war when I wanted peace, then I'm gonna kill you. Then yeah, I'm gonna engage in violent activity to protect myself and the family. We come from Vikings, we come from knights, we come from war. So don't confuse war with fucking Barbie movies. We gotta wake up. And so with that being said, you're a guy that started to work on himself, which means if you're doing these things properly and you understand what I'm saying in this video, your self-esteem will go to the heavens. You will raise your self-esteem based on the evidence of the facts that whatever you do right now, you're treating yourself premium. You stop drinking the coffee for 2 euros. You go in a place where it's 20 euros a cup of coffee because you want to sit with people like-minded, like yourself. Premium, not cheap garbage that talk about football and what you're fucking losers. Okay, so with that being said, raising your self-esteem in a natural way, yeah, not forcing things, yeah, you're raising it. Well, you're gonna think in a different way. You're not gonna be the guy that goes on the streets and he's like, oh, I want to meet a woman. Okay, I should run after all these women. Does she want to have a coffee with me? No. You're gonna ask yourself, do I want to drink a coffee with this girl? How do I know that? So I'm gonna approach this woman, I'm gonna introduce myself, but then it's my decision if I go out with her. Yeah, because you're not a beginner. When you're a beginner, you do all these things. But when you're advanced, when you're treating yourself premium, then you're the one that gets to choose. You're not being chosen, you're choosing. Okay, and you could argue with me and say it's actually in a way that you're choosing her, she's choosing you. Yeah, but you don't treat yourself as a goddamn option that is trying to convince women, buy them, or you're like insignificant and you're like, oh, I hope you're gonna pick me, because I have no life, no go. No, everything changes inside of you. And you know what the funny thing is? Because you're doing all these things that I mentioned in this video that you should like, by the way, don't forget to like it. You're gonna come to the next thing that women actually look for, and they look for powerful guys that when they are walking on the street, they are seduction in person. What does it take for you to become seduction? Well, first of all, understand that real seduction is 95% non-verbal. There is an energy about you. So 95% is non-verbal. However, when you're a beginner, when you're confused, you're not working on yourself, or you're just a cheap little piece of shit that you're trying to look for free advice on the internet and don't show your gratitude towards the people that are helping you, when you have such a poor mentality, the problem is you're going through life and you're trying to convince people to look at you, to buy them, to win their attention. So your seduction will be 100% verbally. You're trying to make her laugh. You're trying to prove certain things to her. You're like a guy in the circus doing demonstrations. However, advancing and leveling up, seduction becomes non-verbal, becomes you are grounded in some convictions about yourself, that you have proof of what you're telling yourself. There is a self-speech that is so empowering that people vibrate. People are like, who the hell is that guy? Who is it? It's so addictive to be with him. And that's what I want in my life. So you become a guy that is shaking the earth, that women will undress straight away. And you don't even need to tell them to do this. Your seduction will be non-verbal. Although your mouth is shut, you will communicate a lot, but just by being what you are. And of course, this leads me to the last thing, and the fact that because you're working on yourself or not, you're forcing things, and because you're forcing things, you want to show people that you are enough, and you deserve that girl, and you deserve the friendships, and you deserve the money, and blah blah blah. So you're trying a lot to build partnerships, friendships, to network, to make people laugh, to impress them. Everything is about the stupid society. Nothing is about you. So you're gonna be bragging about a lot of things. You're gonna talk to women, brag about yourself. You're gonna somehow showcase your lifestyle and stuff like that. Now, the next level, the ultimate level, is when you are actually embracing the privacy. You don't need to shout anymore. You don't need to talk too much. You don't need to convince anyone to come with you. You don't need to show them that you own 4 restaurants, because you're good enough. You don't have to do all these things. Just your existence is something amazing. Just by you existing on this planet is getting nurtured by your presence, your existence. And that is the last level where I actually want to take you with my coaching offers and the help I can provide you. Because your problem is you're trying to go to the next level. You're having some blockages. You don't know how to go to the next level. My problem is, how can I take you so far and so fast that you're going to be like, Christ, what in the goddamn world happened? That is my objective. So if you want to work with me, this is my email address. Leave me an email and we can set up an interview to see where can we start. And until next time, if you have any extra time to invest, I highly recommend you don't lose this video. It's gonna make a bigger impact in your life.